Darvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nitya-lila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti-Vedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai. Nitya-lila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gorkshadas Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Nitya-lila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti-Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitya-lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Rupa Anugaurya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanātana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Padadasa Gunath Shara Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha-kuṇḍe Śyāma-kuṇḍe ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kartik Vrat Niyam Seva ki jai. Damodar Vrat ki jai. Yashoda Damodar ki jai. Radha Damodar ki jai. Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai. Shri Satyavrata Muni ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta-koti Vaishnava ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Shri Sanātana Gosvāmī's Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā ki jai. My Śrīla Gurudev's Dig-darśinī-vṛtti ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna, Andri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji. Let's see if anybody else is there. Oh man, it's intense. I'm going straight from one program right to the next without any gap in between. Before, because our kirtan program before was shorter, it was like 15 minutes shorter, but now we added more kirtans for Kartik Vrat. So today I finished at 7:01, like 1 minute late, and then I had to start this video. Haribo Vidyalala Sadidi, and somebody else is there watching. Oh, a few other people. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Okay, so now we will begin reading from Damodarāṣṭakam. Today we're reading verse 2. We're going to finish the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti of my Śrīla Gurudev, and then we will read most of verse 3. Okay, so I'll share my screen and we will begin. Vidal Alasadid is asking, why don't I take a 5-minute break? Well, because I want to start on time, like at 7 o'clock rather than 7:05. Sometimes I'm late, but yeah. I don't want people to just be hanging out waiting for me. I mean, I've done that a lot, but I try to avoid it as much as possible. Okay. So, let's see, where are we? Verse 2. Let's go over the verse quickly. Okay, actually verse 1 and verse 2 go together. Because verse 1 begins the Lila and verse 2 continues it. Let me open this up here. We can look at it. Because I don't know, I don't like when Sanskrit's written in fancy fonts like that, or italicized, because then it's not so clear to read. Let's see. Damodar. Okay. Okay, so Namam Ishwaram Satchid Ananda. Oh, Haribo Satya Didi. Satya Mataji, sorry. Okay. Okay, so Namam Ishwaram Satchid Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam. Namam Ishwaram, I offer pranam, namami, to Ishwar, whose rupam, whose form is Satchid Ananda. It's made of Satchid Ananda. We all know what that means. Then Lasat Kundalam. Lasat means swinging, so swinging earrings. So he wears swinging earrings, makar-shaped earrings. Gokule, in the land of Gokul, the land of cows and cow herders. Bhrajamanam, he is splendidly situated. He's resplendent. Now we begin the lila. Yashoda bhiya, in fear of Mother Yashoda, ulu kalat, from the grinding mortar, dhavamanam, he runs, he dashes off. Then paramrishtam, then from behind he is seized, he's caught. Atyantato, that means ultimately, he's ultimately caught from behind. Drutya gopya, by Mother Yashoda who is running, Drutya, who is running after him. Now we come to the second verse. Rudantaṁ muhur. Muhur means again and again, or incessantly, continuously. So what is he doing again and again? What is he incessantly doing? He's incessantly crying. Rudantaṁ muhur. And with his, and then this goes backwards actually. So it's very often like that. The way that we would translate it in English would go like this way, and in Sanskrit it goes like the opposite direction. So karāmbhoja-yugmena. So kara means hands, ambhoja means lotus, ambhoja. So karāmbhoja means lotus hands, and yugmena means by the two. So by his two lotus hands, what is he doing? He is mṛjantaṁ. He is wiping. He's wiping his netra-yugmaṁ, his two eyes. His netra means eyes, yugmaṁ means two. So his two eyes. He's rubbing his two eyes with his two lotus hands. His eyes are sātaṅka. His netram is sātaṅka, is filled with fear. So muhuḥ, again we see that word muhuḥ, which means again and again, incessantly. So muhuḥ, śvāsa. Śvāsa means heavy, like sobbing, or is the word heaving? Like that. That's so śvāsa. Then this śvāsa causes the graiva means the necklace, which is sthita, which is situated on his kaṇṭha, on his neck which is tri-rekhāṅka, which has 3 lines, which is marked anka with 3 rekha, with 3 lines. It causes that graiva to kampa, to tremble, like it causes it to shake. So śvāsa-kampa-tri-rekhāṅka-kaṇṭha, sthita-graiva. Then that Damodar means bound by the belly. So that Damodar, how is he bound? Only by bhakti. That Damodar is bound by bhakti. Damodaram bhakti-baddham. So I hope all these words are now somewhat clear for this verse, so that when we're singing them, we actually know what we're saying. So I'll just read the translations for these. I worship the Supreme Controller, whose form is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Upon his cheeks, makar-shaped earrings are swinging, and he shines most brilliantly in Gokul. Running away from the grinding mortar in great fear of Mother Yashoda, he was ultimately caught from behind. Weeping incessantly, he rubs his eyes with his 2 lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear. He takes heavy breaths again and again that cause the pearls and other ornaments around his neck, which is marked by 3 gracefully curving lines, to tremble. I offer pranams unto that Damodar, who is bound by his mother's Vatsalya-bhakti. I offer pranam is in parentheses because it's not actually in the Sanskrit. But yeah. Okay, so, and today we will be going through the 3rd verse, but we can go word by word once we get there. First, we are going to finish chapter 2. Okay. So, Haribo, Kṛṣṇa Mai Didi, and Kishore Prabhu. Thank you, Vedavyāsa Didi. Okay. So there is Sanātana Gosvāmī's Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā in Sanskrit. And then the Bhavanuvad of that, the translation, which, yeah, okay, now, and now that's of Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī, and now my Śrīla Gurudev's Dig-darśinī-vṛtti. On this day, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the personality who causes the 3 worlds to tremble merely by the movement of his eyebrows, has become overwhelmed by fear of his mother. Seeing the tiny stick in her hand, he is trembling and stammers, "Mother, look, do not hit me. I did not break the pot of yogurt." Mother Yashoda is slightly full-figured. As she was running, her braid came undone, and the flowers woven in her hair began falling out. It is as if the flowers were saying, "Mother, you are not alone. We are also with you." Okay, I'm gonna so as Kanaya, I'm just skipping around to where we read to yesterday. Okay. So Mother Yashoda, she not only captured him, who even Lord Brahma and the 4 Kumaras are not able to catch in their meditation, but she didn't only catch him, but she was punishing. She brandished a small stick in her hand and threatened him, "Shall I beat you now?" As Kanaya rubbed his tear-filled eyes and tried to hide behind his mother, he cried out, "Mother, do not hit me!" He did not look directly at her. He only looked fearfully at the stick in her hand. "You monkey friend," she exclaimed, "Chor, thief." To this, Śrī Kṛṣṇa replied, "Mother, there is no chor in my dynasty. There is only a chor in your dynasty." There's in one of Mother Yashoda's ancestors is named Chor Ghosh. "Oh, really?" she retorted. "If you did not steal the butter, then who is feeding the monkeys?" "He who made the monkeys was feeding them." "Is that so?" she said. "Tell me frankly, who broke this pot?" "Look, Mother, when you ran to save the milk, your large ankle bells hit the pot and it broke." Then how did you get butter all over your face?" she asked. "Mother, the monkeys were eating the butter, so I was trying to scare them away. As they were running, they smeared butter all over my mouth." Hearing this exchange, all the gopis began to laugh. "I am not about to set you free so easily," Mother Yashoda said. "I am going to tie you up." Mother Yashoda's mood was grave. If I don't chastise him, she thought, he will become quite a troublemaker. With this in mind, she decided to bind him. Although Śrī Kṛṣṇa started to cry, she did not let him go. She thought to herself, "I will keep him up tied for a while, and when I have finished churning the yogurt, I will untie him and feed him butter and breast milk to calm him down." Mother Yashoda considered. Kṛṣṇa is Kala, which means cunning and a mischievous thief. And his accomplice is the Ulukala, this grinding mortar. Both deserve to be punished. I will tie them together in such a way that Kṛṣṇa cannot untie himself from the mortar. Thinking thus, she proceeded to bind him. But, as we hear in this 9th chapter of the 10th canto, when Mother Yashoda tried to bind her mischievous child, The rope was 2 fingers too short, so she tied it to another rope. Now, there's an esoteric meaning in this. 1 finger represents the sadhak's endeavors, the cheshta, the endeavors of the sadhak, and the other finger represents the Lord's mercy. Sri Bhagavan becomes controlled by his devotee only when both of these elements are present together. So the sadhak's cheshta and Bhagavan's kripa, Bhagavan's mercy, those are the 2 fingers. That's what they represent. And then we read about the Ramanuja Sampradaya, how it's divided into 2 divisions. There is the Vadakalai and the Tenkalai. And the Vadakalai Ramanujas, they place more emphasis on grace arising from a cause. They say that it's by our endeavor, then we get Bhagavan's, then that's the prominent thing. Like a monkey that has to hold on to the mother, and the mother will jump around, and the baby monkey has to hold on for its life. Whereas the Tenkalai Ramanujas, they're based more on causeless grace. That, no, we need mercy. And their stance is compared to Marjaranyai, which is like the mother kitten who holds the baby kitten by the neck, with her teeth. And so the baby kitten is carried around. It's just by mercy. And the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we assert that both views are necessary. And the example is given of somebody who's fallen in a well crying out, "Please save me, help me." And then somebody lowers a rope into the well. And so that's mercy. So Bhagavan's mercy, or Shri Gurudev's mercy, is there with us. It's there. Like he gave his mercy. The only thing is we need to hold on to that mercy. He can't chant for us. He can't hold on to the mercy for us. And so in the same way, if you want to get out of the well, you have to grab onto the rope. You have to hold it. Grabbing onto the well, that's cheshta, that's your endeavor. Otherwise, what can they do? Guru and Kṛṣṇa are not going to interfere with our independence. That's what makes us who we are. Like, if without independence, then everything is just one. And so, yeah. So there's only so much they can do. They can give their mercy, but it's up to us to take it. So, Mother Yashoda did not give up in her attempt to bind Kṛṣṇa. She kept trying. All the gopis began to clap their hands and say, "Oh, Mother, the Creator has not written on this boy's forehead that he'll be bound, so how can you tie him up?" Mother Yashoda felt ashamed. "This is so embarrassing," she thought. "I've not been able to bind the child that came from my own womb." Then she took shelter of Bhagavan Nārayaṇa. She said, "Oh, please help me, Nārayaṇa. If I cannot bind this boy today, it will be so shameful for me. Protect my honor." So sadhak should perform sadhan bhajan with the same unwavering determination and hard endeavor, like Mother Yashoda. Right? There's this verse. Sorry, I should have read this verse from this. Shri Kṛṣṇa saw that this is from verse 18 of the 9th chapter. Shri Kṛṣṇa saw that his mother's body had become drenched with perspiration. The garlands woven into her braid had fallen out, and she had become utterly exhausted. Seeing his mother's fatigue, little Shri Kṛṣṇa compassionately allowed himself to be bound. Sadhak should perform sadhan bhajan with the same unwavering determination and hard endeavor. Then Shri Kṛṣṇa's heart will melt, and he will be compelled to bestow his sublime devotional service upon them. Indeed, when Kṛṣṇa saw his mother's firm resolve, his heart melted, and his topmost potency, his mercy, the totality of all powers combined, then manifested as his bhakta vatsalyata, his affection for his devotees. At that very moment, his Aishwarya Shakti disappeared, and he allowed himself to be bound. Mother Yashoda made an intense endeavor with unflinching resolve. Following her example, sadhaks should try to melt Shri Kṛṣṇa's heart and by practicing devotional service that is imbued with the characteristics like sincere loving emotions, bhav, great enthusiasm and anxiousness, utkantha, a deep sense of closeness and relationship, sambandha, a feeling of possessiveness, mamata, and intense affection for him, vritti. With all these characteristics, the sadhak should compel him to engage them in loving service to him. I love this part. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains in his commentary that Krishna's waist measures only 12 fingers, and the length of the rope continually increased. Why then could his mother still not bind him? Krishna was thinking, my important daily activities of stealing butter and playing with my friends will be stopped. My very important activities. So my mother should not tie me up. Immediately, his Aishwarya Shakti, which makes the impossible possible, manifested herself within him and proceeded to serve him. Consequently, although the size of his waist remained the same, and although the rope was made so long, his mother could not bind him. Okay, I need to start skipping more. Okay. So through this pastime, we see that he will only become bound by someone who cultivates uttama bhakti, which is the inherent function of one's perfected constitutional identity, and which is uninhibited by fruitive acts, mystic yoga, and dry knowledge. Therefore, Sri Bhagavan's power of compassion and mercy, the topmost among all his potencies, only becomes manifest by the performance of such uttama bhakti. In its presence, his Aishwarya Shakti, the power by which he displays his supreme majesty, becomes powerless. When Shri Krishna manifests his mercy potency, he is controlled of his own accord. Okay, this is where we left off. Before the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, bhakti was evident within the world, but not bhakti ras. Actually, let's read this previous paragraph. In their previous lives, Devaki and Vasudeva performed extremely severe penances, but even they could not bind Sri Krishna. What then can be said of others who tried to bind him? He may willingly come under the control of a sadhak when he sees them eagerly perform loving service to him with great persistence. But he cannot be attracted by austerities alone. He is only attracted by sincere love. Before the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, bhakti was evident within the world, but not bhakti ras. Sri Rupa Gosvāmī fulfilled the inner desire of Srimad Mahaprabhu. Within the sacred texts he compiled, especially Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Sri Ujjvala Nilamani, he perfectly delineated the meaning of bhakti ras, describing all of its divisions and subdivisions in full detail. Srimad Mahaprabhu has propagated bhakti ras through his most confidential associates, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, Śrī Rai Ramananda, Śrī Rupa Gosvāmī, Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, Śrī Raghunath Das Gosvāmī, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, my own Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti-Vignana Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and others. Okay, now we're continuing from where we left off. I hope you don't mind me doing such long recaps. I like going over things twice. It just really cements it for me. Yeah. All right. Oh, Haribol, Prajumna Prabhu, and Mantra Murti Mataji, and Raj Bhuvan Yadavji. And I see a few other people joined. Haribol, everybody. Okay, Satya Mataji agrees. Cool. I mean, she says okay. Mother Yashoda, continuing on. Mother Yashoda wound the rope around Krishna's belly, tied him to the grinding mortar, and then went to churn the yogurt, her mind remaining on her son all the while. Just then, Dhamma, Śrī Dhamma, Sudama, Madhumangal, and Krishna's other sakhas arrived. Mother Rohini also returned to Nanda Bhavan from the house of Upananda, along with her son, Sri Baladeva Prabhu, who then entered the group of sakhas. When he saw that his little brother was tied up and that he was crying, he became furious. Tears mixed with black cosmetic ointment, the tears mixed with his kajal was streaming from Krishna's eyes. On one side, where the ointment had totally washed away, it looked like the clear river Ganga. And on the other side, where his tears were dark from mixing with the ointment, it looked like the blackish Yamuna. Thus the two rivers were cascading on his chest. Enraged, Baladev Prabhu asked Kanaya and the Sakas, "Who bound him?" Baladev Prabhu thought, "Whoever has bound my Kanaya, I will punish this very day." Then Madhumangal whispered into Baladev's ear, "It was Mother Yashoda who bound Krishna." As soon as he heard Mother Yashoda's name, he became silent. After a few moments, he tried to open the knot. However, he was unable to untie Mother Yashoda's strong knot. What's the reason for this? Why could Baladev Prabhu not untie Mother Yashoda's knot? This is because the love of devotees in Vatsalya ras, in parental love, is superior to the love of devotees in Sakhya ras, in friendship. Incidentally, had Baladev Prabhu been situated in his form as Ananga Manjari, wherein he is devoted to Krishna in the highest ras, madhur ras, conjugal love, he could have untied the knot. But although all the Sakas kept working together to untie Krishna, they were not successful. Shri Krishna gradually stopped crying. Even he was unable to set himself free. "Come on," the Sakas told him. "We will tip over the grinding mortar and drag it out of the courtyard and play." At that moment, he remembered the incident that occurred a long time ago between the two sons of Kuvera and his dear devotee. And he thought, "Devarshi me priyatamo yadimo danadatmajo tat tata sadayeshyami yargitam tan mahatmana." Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:10-25. Devarshi Narad is my most dear devotee. Therefore, even though these two brothers, the sons of the most wealthy demigod Kuvera, had no devotion for me, still I must fulfill Shri Narad's words by appearing directly before them and granting them devotional service to me. Kuvera was the dear friend of Devarshi Narad, and his two sons were Nalakuvar and Manigriva. One day, while they were bathing in the Mandakini, the celestial Ganga, with heavenly damsels, their intoxication from being wealthy, beautifully figured, youthful, and of noble birth, completely intoxicated by that, they became further inflamed by drinking wine. At that time, Devarshi Narad passed by. When the ladies saw that he had come, they hurried out of the water, dressed themselves, and offered him obeisances. But Nalakuvar and Manigriva, blinded by ignorance, did not offer obeisances. In fact, they stood there naked and mused. Where has this person come from? Ignoring the great sage, they shamelessly proceeded to call for the heavenly damsels to return. When Shri Narad beheld the degraded behavior of Nalakuvar and Manigriva, he was overwhelmed with compassion for them. That's the quality of a Vaishnav, that they feel compassion for everybody, even if somebody's mistreating them and being totally rude to them. They don't become angry or upset. They become overwhelmed with compassion for this person. Outwardly, he feigned anger and shouted a curse. "Your behavior befits that of trees? So be it. Become trees." Upon hearing the curse uttered by Devarshi Narad, they were filled with fear. Falling at his feet and weeping, they begged for pardon. How can we be delivered?" they asked. Shri Narad replied, "Both of you will become twin Arjuna trees near the house of Nanda Mahārāja in Gokul. At the end of Dwapar Yuga, Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna will deliver you in the course of enacting his childhood pastimes." When Shri Krishna remembered his devotee's curse, he was overwhelmed with compassion for the two sons of Kuvera. Just to deliver them, he dragged the heavy grinding mortar toward the extremely large Arjuna trees with all of his friends. There's a footnote here. It says, ancient Arjuna trees grow extremely large. According to Sri Narad's curse, Nala, Kuvara, and Manigriva remained in the form of Arjuna trees for 100 celestial years, or about 15 million earth years. The trees were fused at their base, but somehow Kṛṣṇa passed between them. The grinding mortar, however, became lodged between the trees. As soon as Sri Kṛṣṇa tugged at the grinding mortar with some force, the two trees were completely uprooted. At once they began falling over and finally struck the ground, producing a deafening crash. Then, from within the ancient trees, two divine personalities emerged. They circumambulated Sri Kṛṣṇa and submitted prayers in glorification of him. After they begged to be forgiven for their offense, Sri Kṛṣṇa explains, "It is the unfailing result of seeing Sri Narad that even such rogues as the two of you are able to see me face to face, and the sum total of all the sins you have committed in your countless births has fled far away from you. May you attain bhav bhakti for me." By Sri Kṛṣṇa's causeless mercy, they resided in Goloka Vrindavan from that point onward. They became the famous reciters Madhukanta and Snigdhakanta. Thus, as Sri Kṛṣṇa's special associates, they eternally narrate his unlimited pastimes in the assembly of Sri Nanda Baba or the Gopis. And there's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pastime explained from Gopal Champu at the end of this book. Once we get to the appendix of this book, then we'll read that about Madhukanta and Snigdhakanta. That which cannot be obtained even after accumulating pious credit, accumulating sukriti for millions of lifetimes, can be achieved very quickly by the causeless mercy of Sri Guru, Vaishnavas, and Sri Hari. The devotees who are expert in relishing the loving moods of the Vraja Gopis are the treasure house of lobhamoy bhakti, devotion to Sri Kṛṣṇa that is full of intense longing. Among them, some exemplify one's own desired mood and are affectionate towards oneself, sajatiya snigdha. If one gets their association, then he should realize that they are the most dear friends of his soul. With his life and soul, he should serve them and endeavor to purchase their mood. This is an important point. The devotees who are expert in relishing loving moods of the Vraja Gopis are the treasure house of lobhamoy bhakti. Devotion to Kṛṣṇa is full of intense longing. Among these devotees who are full of lobhamoy bhakti, some exemplify one's own desired moods and are affectionate towards oneself. Some of these lobhamoy bhakti, those who have this lobhamoy bhakti, it's not saying all of those who have lobhamoy bhakti, but among them some exemplify one's own mood and are affectionate towards oneself. If one gets their association, then he should realize that they are the most dear friends of his soul. With his life and soul, he should serve them and endeavor to purchase their mood. That's why nobody should ever tell somebody, "Oh, you should get initiated by this person," or you should even if there are many pure devotees around, there'll be one Mahabhagavat that is swajatiya and snigdha towards yourself, and so that's why nobody should ever get in between the guru and the disciple, or like trying to push somebody to take initiation from this person or this person. It's very individual. You can encourage people to go hear from somebody, from different Vaishnavas, but trying to push somebody to get initiated, that's only the individual, they know on the level of their soul, they can understand. Nobody else can have any idea about that. Hari Bol, Dr. Vandana. Hare Krishna. Okay, But how can such moods be attained? When a person hankers for the same relationship, the same sambandha that these great rasik devotees have with their Swamini, Śrī Radha, and with her companions, and when he hankers to have the same deep possessiveness, mamata, for her, and the same intense inclination to serve her, the same seva vasana, then he can attain these moods. Only then can one truly serve such rasik personalities, and then one's life only then is one's life successful. There is no other way. Nanda Baba came running after he heard the deafening crash made when the massive Arjuna trees fell. He saw Kanaya still tied up, standing between the fallen trees. Nanda Baba was shaken to see Kṛṣṇa standing so close to the fallen trees, and he thought, "Today, Śrī Narayan has given us so much protection. What would have happened if Kanaya had been underneath these trees when they fell?" Mother Yashoda also came running. When she saw the horrible scene, she entered into shock. Aghast, she thought, "Alas, what has happened?" Nanda Baba asked the children, "How did this happen?" In their broken language, the children explained, "Baba, as soon as Kanaya pulled the grinding mortar against the two trees, they fell over and two very beautiful people came out. They still looked like demigods. They folded their hands and offered prayers to Kanaya. Then they circumambulated him and went north." But Nanda Baba was not convinced. He took Kṛṣṇa on his lap. Kṛṣṇa had been keeping silent till now. But as soon as he sat on his father's lap, he burst into tears and began to wail. When Nanda Baba and the cowherd boys saw Kṛṣṇa crying, tears also started streaming from their own eyes. Nanda Baba pacified his darling son and untied the knot. The knot that bound Kṛṣṇa was factually made of vatsalya ras, not rope. Consequently, only his associates in vatsalya ras or muhur ras, conjugal love, had the power to untie such a knot. Kṛṣṇa's friends in sakya ras and his servants in dasya ras, or those situated in a passive or neutral relationship with him in Shantaras, could not have untied the knot tied by Mother Yashoda. Even within Vatsalya Ras, there is a gradation. The love of Mother Yashoda, who actually bound Kṛṣṇa, is superior to the love of Nanda Baba, who released him. When Mother Yashoda saw what had happened to her Kanaya, she could not move. She simply stood there like a statue. She could not even cry. Nanda Baba made Kanaya a little peaceful and then gave him a sweet laddu from his cloth bag. "Kanaya," he asked, "tell me, who tied you up?" "Mother," Kanaya replied. Becoming silent, Nanda Baba then resolved to punish Mother Yashoda with the greatest punishment a loved one can give. For the entire remainder of the day, Nanda Baba did not speak a single word to her. In a grave mood, he took Kṛṣṇa and Balaram in his arms and went to bathe in Brahmanda Ghat. After everyone had bathed, he returned with them to the Goshala, the grand shelter for the cows. Meanwhile, Mother Yashoda had become as dry and lifeless as a piece of dry wood. In the Goshala, Nanda Baba filled Kṛṣṇa's and Balaram's bellies by giving them rock candy and squirting milk into their mouths directly from the cow's udders. When they came home, Mother Rohini served them the food that she had prepared, and Nanda Baba silently fed the children. After they had finished, he took some himself. Then they returned to the Goshala. In the evening, Upananda's wife came to Nanda Baba along with Mother Rohini and the other older ladies of Raj. Mother Rohini told Balaram, "Go now and bring Kṛṣṇa." That day, however, Kṛṣṇa had given Balaram such a push that he fell quite far backward. Finally, Upananda's wife and Mother Rohini spoke to Kanaya. "Look, Kanaya," they said, "your mother is crying so much. Go to her." "No, I will not go," he answered. "Then come to me," Rohini said. But Kanaya answered strongly, "No, I won't go near you. When mother was tying me up and I called to you so loudly, when mother was tying me up, I called to you so loudly, but you did not come. I won't even go near you." "With whom will you eat?" asked Mother Rohini. "With father," he answered. "With whom will you play?" she asked. "With Dvaipāyana, my big brother Balaram." "With whom will you sleep?" "With father." Rohini said, "Until now, you have always slept next to your mother, but today you will sleep by your father? Your mother is crying for you." Then Nanda Baba said, "Should I beat your mother?" Upon hearing these words, Kanaya stopped his father's hand in answer. Kanaya stopped his father's raised hand in answer. Then Rohini said, "And if mother suddenly dies, then?" As soon as Kṛṣṇa heard this, he burst into loud sobs and ran into Mother Rohini's lap. She brought him to Mother Yashoda, and when she placed him on Yashoda's lap, Yashoda began to weep loudly. Shri Kṛṣṇa also cried. Nanda Baba's heart melted, and he began to cry. Rohini and all the other residents of Vraj who were gathered there, everyone began to cry. Weeping filled the entire atmosphere. Finally, the respected elders of Vraj pacified everyone. That night, when it was time for dinner, Nanda Baba told Kanaya, "Go and bring your mother to me." Shri Kṛṣṇa immediately went and caught hold of his mother's veil, and although she hesitated to go, Kṛṣṇa brought her to Nanda Baba. She served dinner to everyone, and they all took their meal with great joy. Thereafter, Mother Yashoda took Shri Kṛṣṇa up into her arms and went into her bedroom. Thus ends the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti on the second verse. Jai. Wow, this is so beautiful. Oh, Kṛṣṇa. Okay. Now we come to verse 3. Okay, now let's go through these words. Let's look at it here. And let's see. Oh, I'm just looking at the comments. Oh, noise suppression. Okay. I have to remember to turn it back off though when I start Dāmodarāṣṭakam. I've been forgetting every time. One second. I have to stop the screen share. And okay. So itidrik. Okay. So itidrik means through pastime. It means like this. In this way, itidrik. Through pastimes such as these. Then again, remember how I mentioned it goes backwards lots of times in Sanskrit. So itidrik, like this, sva-līlābhir, by his own pastimes, such as these. Kṛṣṇa mṛjantaṁ, he drowns. He drowns who? The sva-ghoṣaṁ, his own people, the residents of Gokul, the sva-ghoṣaṁ. He drowns them in ānanda-kuṇḍe. In kunda, we all know the word kunda, Radha Kund. So in pools of ananda, of bliss. He drowns mṛjantaṁ, sva-ghoṣaṁ, his own residence of Gokul, in ānanda-kuṇḍe, in the pools of bliss. By this, he akyapāyantam, he informs all those who are tadīya. Tadīya means his. Ishita means godhood. Geshu, knowledgeable. So akyapāyantam, he informs all those who are geshu, who are aware, who are knowledgeable about tadīya, his ishita, his godhood. What does he inform them? Bhaktar-jitatvam, that he is jitatvam, that he is conquered by bhakti. Puna means again. Prematas, with love. Tang, to him. Śatavrata, hundreds of times. Vande, I offer obeisance. Okay, so are all these words clear now? Itidrik, through such like this, sva-līlābhir, by his lila, sva-ghoṣaṁ, to his own people, the residents of Gokul, to his residents of Gokul, mṛjantaṁ, he merges them, he drowns them in ānanda-kuṇḍe, in pools of bliss, thereby akyapāyantam, thereby informing tadīyeśita-jñeṣu, those who are geshu of tadīya, of his ishita, godhood, that by bhakti jitatvam, he is conquered. Puna, again. Prematas, with love, unto him. Tam, unto him. Śatavrata vande, I offer hundreds of obeisances. Shata means 100. So obeisances hundreds of times, hundreds of obeisances. Let's sing this now. Itidrika sva-līlābhir ānanda-kuṇḍe sva-ghoṣaṁ mṛjantaṁ akyapāyantam tadīyeśita-jñeṣu bhaktar-jitatvam puna prematas tang shata-vritti vande O namameshwaram sachidananda-rupam lasakundalam gokule brajamanam. Okay, let's see how it's translated here. Itidrik, like this, his supremely enchanting childhood pastimes such as Dam Bandhan Lila, in which his belly was bound, sva-līlābhir, by his unique and uncommon pastimes, ānanda-kuṇḍe, in fathomless pools of bliss, sva-ghoṣaṁ, all the inhabitants of his abode of Gokul, are all the entities manifested by his pastime potency, mṛjantaṁ, completely and incessantly submerging, akyapāyantam, informing, tadīyeśita-jñeṣu, his associates, those who have knowledge of his absolute divinity, bhakti, by his loving devotees, jitatvam, he is conquered, puna, again, premata, with love, tang, unto him, śata-vritti, hundreds of times, vande, obeisance. Oops, I made a mistake here. I said bhaktar through bhakti. Did I say through bhakti? I meant to say through devotees. I think I said through his devotees. Anyways, if I said bhakti, I meant to say devotees. This word for word's a little bit elaborated, you know. Like sva-līlābhir doesn't mean his unique and uncommon pastimes. It just means by his pastimes. And ānanda-kuṇḍe doesn't mean fathomless pools of bliss. It just means pools of bliss. But it's just filling it out a little bit more. Okay. Translation. By his childhood pastimes, such as this Dham Bandhan Lila, he perpetually drowns all the residents of Gokul, his gopas, gopis, cows, calves, and so forth, who are all manifested by his pastime potency in pools of bliss. He thus informs those who have knowledge of his absolute divinity that only the pure and simple love of these devotees can conquer him. Again, hundreds of times I offer loving obeisance unto Śrī Damodar Kṛṣṇa. Okay, now the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā of Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī Pad. There's the Bhav Anubhad. There's the Sanskrit, and now it's the Bhav Anubhad. Śrī Satyavrata Muni begins this verse with iti drik sva-līlābhir to establish his worshipful Lord's unique glory. He accomplishes this by illustrating his wonderful character. In this verse, iti is used to mean like this. Thus he begins, like this, iti drik, by his bhakta-vashyata. In this way, he reiterates that it is Sri Krishna's nature to come under the control of his devotees. So by his bhakta-vashyata means by his coming under the control of his devotees, being subdued by his devotees. So iti means like that, by his bhakta-vashyata. Alternatively, iti means by this Damodar Lila, and idrishibis cha, by his supremely enchanting extraordinary childhood pastimes like Damodar Lila. He is immersing all the residents of Gokul in great bliss. The addition of swa and the phrase sva-līlābhir conveys the greatness of his own pastimes. Swa means his own. Or it conveys the uncommon excellence of the playfulness of his pastimes. This has been described in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 11, verse 7, in statements such as the following. Gopi stobito nrityar bhagavan balavat kvachit udgayati kvachin mugdhas tadvasho daruyantravat. Sweet verse. The gopis would encourage Krishna to dance in various ways. They would clap their hands or say, "If you dance, then we will give you a laddu." Although Krishna is Bhagavan, the supreme omnipotent Godhead, and the master of all opulences, baby Krishna would dance for them like an innocent human child. Sometimes they would tell him to sing, and like an ordinary bewildered child, he would sing for them. Enchanted by them, he would become like a wooden puppet in their hands. Vibharti kvachid agyapta pitakon mana padukam bahukshepam chakurute svanam cha pritim samudvahan. That's Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:11:8. Sometimes the gopis would order Sri Krishna to bring them someone's shoes, wooden seats, measuring cups, or the weights used for scales. At such times, he would act as if he was unable to lift these articles. He would simply stand there touching them, and then he would repeatedly strike his arms to show his mightiness, like a wrestler. By such gestures, he would fill his own kin with boundless joy. It was in sole reference to the above statements of Śrīmad Bhagavatam that Śrī Satyavrata Muni said Shri Krishna causes sva-ghoṣaṁ, his own kin, the residents of Gokul, to be totally submerged, mṛjantaṁ, in a nectarian and incredibly deep pool of extraordinary happiness, ānanda-kuṇḍe. That is the indication of this verse from Śrīmad Bhagavatam, svanam pritim samudvahan. He thoroughly arouses deep love in his own dear kin. Svanam pritim samudvahan. It's really neat to see how these verses are so close. These verses of Damodarāṣṭakam are so close to the Śrīmad Bhagavatam verses, isn't it? Alternatively, the word ghosha means to loudly proclaim the glory of something. Directing the word ghosh either to himself, swasya, or to his own, svanam, the meaning becomes either by broadcasting his own glories or by broadcasting the glories of his gopas and gopis. Certainly, by becoming absorbed in the mood of spreading his extraordinary glories, certainly by becoming absorbed in the mood of spreading his extraordinary glories, as well as the glories of his own loved ones, even Śrī Kṛṣṇa sinks in ānanda-kuṇḍe as a result, he feels the highest limit of happiness. It's not only the residents of Vraj who are mṛjantaṁ, who are being submerged in ānanda-kuṇḍe, Śrī Kṛṣṇa himself is being submerged in that ānanda. And that's interesting. Ghosha also means to loudly proclaim the glory of something. So it could either be showing his own glories or the glories of his devotees. By this, he himself is submerged in ānanda-kuṇḍe. I just want to see, I'm just curious what ghosha is in the dictionary. Let me just open up. Sanskrit dictionary. Oops. Let's see how it is translated in the dictionary. Ghosh. Will it come up if I type ghosha like that? I have to type ghoshaṁ. Yeah, okay. So let's see. I'm just making this big. Okay. So this is from the Monier-Williams dictionary. Indistinct noise, tumult, confused cries of a multitude, battle cry, cries of victory, any cry or sounds, the roar of animals. Okay, so it's like he's loudly, loudly. And then what about Gosha, like sva-ghoṣaṁ, referring to Gosha usually means like something to do with cow, right? Yeah. Oh, an elder at a station of herdsmen. A walk or procession to the stations of the herdsmen. Anyways, something to do with herdsmen. Yeah. Okay. The noise of milk flowing into a bucket. That's interesting. Very specific. Okay. But yeah, we know in India, if you hear like somebody's a ghosh, that actually the ghoshes are really intense. But yeah, it's known that they come from a family of milkmen or whatever, cow herders. Okay. Let's continue on. Sorry. In order to further describe the extraordinary qualities of Sri Bhagavan, Sri Satyavrata Muni then says, by these pastimes, Sri Kṛṣṇa is making it known, akhya-payantam, to all who are tadīyeśita-jñeṣu. And there's a footnote here. It says, the phrase tadīyeśita-jñeṣu refers to those among his worshippers, tadīya, who know jñeṣu about his absolute supremacy, ishita. Oh, interesting. I was thinking tadīya just meant his. But it's his worshippers, those who are his. Okay. Okay. Okay, Satya Mataji. Haribol. Okay. Sorry, I'm going really slow, aren't I? In order to further describe, okay. Oops. Wait, I lost my spot. 1 second. Okay, there. Okay, so in order to further describe the extraordinary qualities of Śrī Bhagavan, Śrī Satyavrata Muni then says, by these pastimes, Śrī Kṛṣṇa is making it known to all, to Akyapayantam, to all those who are tadīyeśita-jñeṣu, who worship him as the supreme controller and the master of all souls, that he is himself controlled and defeated by the love of his pure devotees, bhakti-baddham. In other words, Kṛṣṇa is declaring, I willingly become controlled by my bhaktas alone, who are intent on serving me with pure devotion. I am never controlled by those who are inclined to worship me while considering my supreme position in opulence. Thus, the sage captures the meaning of the following statement from Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:11-9. Darshayang vidam loka atmano bhrittavashyatam. Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa showed the community of those who know about his supreme position that he only remains under the full control of his loving servants. It's amazing isn't it amazing how closely tied these verses from Śrīmad Bhagavatam are to Damodarāṣṭakam? The commentator, Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī, personally explains the above statement of Bhagavatam as follows. Sanātana Gosvāmī says, here the word tad, about that or about him, is connected to Śrī Kṛṣṇa's position as Bhagavan. And when it is combined with vidham, knowledge of, it becomes knowledge of his position as Bhagavan. Thus, the meaning is clear. He is showing darshyaks. He is showing those who know about his supreme opulence that he willingly comes under the control of his loving servants. And this is a paragraph in square brackets. In other words, the original Supreme Lord, Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chandra, is exhibiting that in every respect, he is only controlled by his loving servants in Vraj, and among them, he is especially controlled by those in Unnata Ujjvala Ras, the supremely pure humor of Madhur Ras, transcendental amor. He is not controlled by devotees who worship him on the path of Aishvarya-bhakti, which is characterized by the mood of reverence. Nor is he controlled by jnanis, who know him to be the self-sufficient, supremely powerful Lord, nor by those whose bhakti is mixed with such jnana. But there is another meaning of tadīyeśita-jñeṣu bhaktir-jitatam. What's the other meaning? Śrī Kṛṣṇa only reveals, he only reveals that he is willingly controlled, that he is jitatvam, by his loving devotees. He reveals this only to those who have proper knowledge of such beloved devotees' exalted position. He reveals that he is jitatvam, controlled by his loving devotees, only to those who have proper knowledge of such beloved devotees' exalted position. This is because bhakti, and especially its glories, are very confidential. He does not reveal it to everyone. It is inappropriate to explain it to anyone who is not specifically acquainted with the exalted glories of the Vaishnavas, and who is only interested in impersonal knowledge. From this perspective, the previously cited verse should be interpreted by connecting vidham with vrityavashyata. Thus, the general meaning of tad-vidam, those who know Śrī Kṛṣṇa's supreme position, becomes vrityavashyata vidam, those who know that Śrī Kṛṣṇa willingly comes under the control of his loving servants. Therefore, Śrī Satyavrata Muni prays, overwhelmed with incomparable pure loving devotion for you, premata, I offer you vandana, my prayers of adoration, hundreds of times, shata avritti. To you, the Supreme Lord, I offer vandana again and again. Puna, again and again, puna. Thus, in this verse, the sage wishes to say, among the limbs of bhakti, which are required for all devotees, I only pray to perform one special limb of bhakti, vandana, to constantly express my adoration for Śrī Bhagavan. I do not pray for knowledge of Śrī Bhagavan's opulence or anything else. Thus ends the English rendition of the Dig-darśinī-ṭīkā on the third verse. Okay, so now we move on to the Dig-darśinī-vṛtti, the commentary of my Śrīla Gurudev. Shri Krishna's pastimes are lakes of inexhaustible bliss, in which he drowns the entire village of Gokul. The village of Gokul is known as Goshpalli, which refers to the place where all the animals, birds, cows, gopas, and gopis loudly sing the pastimes of Krishna without cessation. This Goshapali is constantly resounding with the calls of the gopas and gopis. Milk the cows, untie the calves, bring the milk pail. And all is entirely for the pleasure of Sri Gopala Krishna. When Sri Krishna became a little bigger, he discovered that he could go beyond the doorstep leading out of the house. One day, when he and his big brother Balaram went outside, they saw some bright red flowers. They saw bright red flowers had blossomed nearby. However, the flowers were surrounded by a fence of dry bear thorns. Somehow, they moved the thorny branches aside and went through to pick flowers. Meanwhile, the thorny branches fell back into place, blocking their way out. How will we get out of here? They wondered, and they burst into tears. Mother Yashoda heard their loud sobbing and came out of the house. Finding them trapped, she managed to move the thorny branches to the side and take them out. Sometimes, so sweet. Oh, wait, looks like there's a sentence. Oh, there is a sentence that was removed. Okay. So sometimes Shri Krishna would take a sword or knife in his hands. That's what it says in the Hindi. And sometimes Krishna would hold onto the horns. Sometimes Krishna would hold onto the horns of huge bulls and swing them and swing on them. He'd swing on the horns of huge bulls. Other times, he would become astonished when he saw himself reflected in the jeweled pillars of his home. And he would even try to speak with that reflection. One day, his mother said, Krishna, go fetch a calf and we will worship him. Krishna found a calf and caught hold of him. But when he tried to bring him to his mother, the calf refused to move. Krishna struggled to bring him along, tugging and pulling all the way. He finally reached the house, but when he noticed a pot of butter hanging from the ceiling, his mouth began to water. He climbed onto the calf's back, and, taking hold of the pot, he began to empty it of its contents. Seeing his chance to escape, the calf fled from the spot, leaving Krishna dangling. Maya, Maya, he cried. Mother Yashoda, finding Krishna hanging in the air, took him down and scolded him. Early each morning, the gopis used to crowd into Mother Yashoda's home just to see Sri Krishna. Sometimes some gopis would say, Krishna is so strong, while others would argue, no, Balaram is much stronger. How shall we definitely find out who is stronger? Let the two boys wrestle, and the winner will get a big lump of butter. On these occasions, just by seeing the butter, the two boys' mouths would water, and they would start wrestling. The gopis siding with Krishna would clap their hands if he won, but if he lost, then the gopis on Baladev's sides would clap victoriously. One thing, when it mentions butter, it's not the butter that we think of in the West. It's very different. If you've ever had like pure, fresh makhan, it's not so greasy and oily and heavy. It's like light, fluffy, and yeah, it's a totally different thing. On Janmashtami Day, sometimes they bring like pots filled with makhan and mishri with saffron mixed in. It'd be like it's so good. Eat so much of that. Sometimes a gopi would tempt Krishna with a laddu, saying, Kanaya, If you dance for us, I will give you this laddu. Putting his hand on his waist, he would dance to the rhythm, tattai, tattai, tattoi, tattoi, and even sing a sweet little song. In various ways, the Vraj gopis would make Kṛṣna dance, and he became just like their puppet, for he came under their full control. At other times, the gopis who came to visit Mother Yashoda would order Kṛṣna, "Kṛṣna, bring us that wooden seat." Their darling little Kṛṣna would try to lift the small seat, but when they saw that he could not, they swelled with sweet affection for him. That same Śrī Kṛṣna, in his Varaha incarnation, lifted the entire earth on his tusks. Also, when he was a little older, he easily lifted Govardhan Hill on his little finger as if it were no more than a toy ball. But in his childhood pastimes in the same Vrajdam, he could not even lift a small wooden seat. This is the nature of his sweet, human-like pastimes. He controls and maintains everything in creation. He controls and maintains everything in creation, yet he is controlled by the residents of Vraj. Even though he's the controller and maintainer of everything, he is controlled by the residents of Vraj. Although he is the master of unlimited potencies, including his Ghatana Shakti, which makes the impossible possible and the possible impossible, in Vraj, he is unaware of his supreme absolute position. There, he is an innocent and simple child, nourished and cared for by his affectionate mother. As befitting an obedient son, he brings his father's shoes, carrying them on his head, and considers, Father will wear these shoes to attend the assembly of the Gopas. What is the meaning of itidrik sva-līlābhir ānanda-kuṇḍe sva-ghoṣaṁ mṛjantaṁ? Śrī Kṛṣna's sweet childhood pastimes are an ocean of ras. That ocean is inexhaustible, and it has no boundary, for it is absolutely unlimited. He drowns all of the gopas, gopis, cows, calves, and the entire settlement of Vraj in the vast ocean of these pastimes. Even he, in fact, drowns in the ocean of the sweetness of his own pastimes. Why does Śrī Kṛṣna perform these pastimes? Śrī Satyavrata Muni answers this question in relation to tadīyeśita-jñeṣu, those who always retain knowledge of Bhagavan's supreme position. A Tattva-jnani sees Vrajendra-nandan Sri Shyam Sundar as the source of all incarnations and the essence and ultimate limit of Godhead. They know him as the possessor of all six opulences in their fullness, and the Supreme Lord who has the power to make the impossible possible. Devotees such as Narad and the four Kumaras have full knowledge of Śrī Kṛṣna's true position. Through these pastimes, Śrī Kṛṣna is explaining to them, although I possess the potency to make the impossible possible, I am nonetheless controlled by the residents of Vraj. I am simply playing here in the mood of an ignorant child. Itidrik sva-līlābhir. His uncommon childhood pastimes like this Damodar Lila are supremely charming. One day, a fruit seller from Mathura came to Vraj to sell her fruit. She had heard of the preeminent sweetness of Śrī Kṛṣna's pastimes in Gokul and had become exceedingly eager to see him directly. Although she came to Vraj often, she had never gotten the chance to see Kṛṣna. He was either asleep or in the lap of his mother. At other times, he was surrounded by his friends or busy playing inside his home. She tried again and again, but she was always unable to see him. Direct vision of Śrī Kṛṣna is easily available to the residents of Vraj, but it is quite rare for the people of Mathura. Still, the heart of the fruit seller became so full of anxiety that she resolved, if I do not see Kṛṣna today, I will not return to Mathura. The sadhak's resolve should be exactly the same. He should think, day and night, I will execute the limbs of devotion as instructed by Srimad Mahaprabhu and Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī. With love, I will chant a fixed number of Sri Hari's names and serve Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas. Every day, I will study Śrīmad Bhagavatam and other devotional literatures. Every day, I will recite Gopi Gita, Venu Gita, Brahmar Gita, and Yugal Gita. If I come across a Rasik Vaishnav, I will give my life to serving him. I will visit the places where Sri Radha Kṛṣṇa performs their confidential pastimes in the groves and forests of Vraj. I will pray very piteously there and recite hymns and prayers that are full of longing. Then Sri Kṛṣṇa will surely give me his darshan. He is not far away. Having made her vow, the fruit seller came to Nanda Mahāraja's cowherd settlement and wandered about near his house. She began crying out, "Come, take fruits! Follow, take fruits! Come, take mangoes, bananas, and guavas! Follow, follow!" But within moments, she became so absorbed in thinking about Kṛṣṇa that instead of calling the names of the fruits, she cried out, "Come, take Gopal, Govindalo, Madhavlo, Damodarlo." At first, she had been balancing the basket of fruit on her head with one hand, but eventually, she forgot to hold the basket altogether. It kept from falling only due to her natural expertise. Finally, she sat down before the doorstep of Nanda's house. When Sri Kṛṣṇa heard the cries of the fruit seller, he could not remain sitting quietly on his mother's lap. So he climbed down and went to a nearby mound of grain. After taking as much grain as he could hold in his joined palms, he started toward the fruit seller, but his hands were so tiny that all the grain fell from them as he walked. When he reached the fruit seller, all he had left were a few grains that were wedged between his palms and fingers. He poured them into her basket and demanded, "Oh, give me some fruit." The fruit seller became completely enchanted by the beautiful form of little Kṛṣṇa and just sat there looking at him for some time. The import of this pastime is that unless someone is intensely eager to see Sri Kṛṣṇa and is absorbed in remembering him, just as the fruit seller was, he does not give them his darshan. Sri Kṛṣṇa only gives his darshan to those sadhaks who desire nothing but to see him and serve him. Those sadhaks who desire nothing but to see him and serve him. In other words, he only appears before those who have become completely free from anarthas. Haribol Sudevi Didi. When the fruit seller returned to external consciousness, she said, "Lala, my darling baby boy, I will only give you fruit if you sit on my lap just once and call me Ma." Little Kṛṣṇa carefully looked in all directions to make sure no one was watching. When he was sure no one could see, he jumped onto her lap, "Ma," and then quickly jumped off again. There's okay. So he jumped on her lap, "Ma," and then he quickly jumped off, "Give me fruit." All of the deepest desires within the heart of the fruit seller had now been fulfilled. She wanted to give Kṛṣṇa all of her fruit, but she could only give him as much as he could hold in his tiny arms and hands. When Kanaya returned to where Mother Yashoda was sitting in the courtyard, he placed the fruit in her veil. "Lala, where did he get these fruits from?" she asked. Kṛṣṇa simply pointed toward the door. Mother Yashoda became delighted to see such succulent and tasty fruits. She began to distribute them to all the gopis present. But amazingly, even though there were only a few fruits, the quantity did not diminish. When Kṛṣṇa left the fruit seller near the doorstep of his house, she had completely lost external awareness. Sri Kṛṣṇa had stolen her heart and she simply sat in the very same spot until a gopi passing by shook her and brought her back to external consciousness. She slowly picked up her basket of fruit, placing it upon her head, and then set off for Mathura. As the fruit seller walked along the bank of the Yamuna River, she realized that her basket had become much heavier than before. When she set it down and looked inside, she was struck with wonder. Her basket was filled with a variety of valuable jewels. She picked up the basket, threw it into the Yamuna, and burst into tears. Śrī Kṛṣṇa has cheated me, she cried. I have been completely deprived of his real mercy. Overwhelmed by love for Śrī Kṛṣṇa, she lamented bitterly and never returned to her home. When Śrī Kṛṣṇa steals anyone's heart, invariably this becomes their condition. Evam vrata sapriyanama kirtya jatanurago druta chitta uchai hasyat hasatyatoro ditiroti gayatyunmadavandrityati lokabhaya. That's Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11:2-40. Saintly people who have firmly devoted themselves to serving Bhagavan with deep love constantly engage in kirtan of their most beloved names of Kṛṣṇa. With deep attachment, when deep attachment, when anurag arises in them, their hearts thoroughly melt and they become mad in love of God. They laugh and cry loudly. Agitated by love, they sing about their Lord in sweet voices just like madmen, without a trace of shyness. And without a trace of shyness, they dance and sing unaffected by the opinions of ordinary people. It's so beautiful. Overwhelmed by love for Śrī Kṛṣṇa, she lamented bitterly and never returned to her home. When Śrī Kṛṣṇa steals anyone's heart, invariably this becomes their condition. The evil demoness Putana, who would murder small children and drink their blood, beautifully disguised herself as a mother. And what time is it? It's 8:24. Oh, maybe we should stop here. Let's see how long this section is. Yeah, let's stop here. Okay. So now we will sing Dāmodarāṣṭakam and end our program for today. And we'll continue reading this third chapter. We'll complete this third this third verse, commentary by Srila Gurudev, and then we'll begin verse 4. When is Srila Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja's day coming up? Let's see. It's in 4 days from now, November 6th. Oh, wow. 2 days from now, the day after tomorrow, is Srila Narottam Das Thakur's disappearance day. Then the day after that is the appearance of Śrī Radhakund and disappearance of Gadadhar Das. I have to confirm that though, because in different calendars it says different things about Gadadhar Das Thakur. Then and 4 days from now is Srila Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja's appearance day. And today is the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Kushal Narasingha Maharaj. Okay. Bhakti Vichar Jajabha Maharaj is tomorrow. Wow, so every day now is going to be something. Today, tomorrow, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Oh, and it's also appearance of Veerachandra Prabhu. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, now we come to the festival time of Kartik. Every day is going to be something or other. Okay. Oh, thanks for reminding me, Kishore. I was about to forget. Okay. 1 second. I need to. There. Okay, now sharing my screen again. Okay, just getting the mṛdanga. Namami Shvara Sachidananda-rūpam La Satkunda La Gokule Brajamana Yashoda Biyolukha Ladhava Manam Paramrishtam Atyanta Todrupta Gopya Namami Shvaram Sachidananda Rūpam La Satkundalam Gokule Brajamanam rudantaṁ muhur netra-yugmaṁ mṛjantaṁ karāmbhoja-yugmena sātaṅka-netram muhuḥ śvāsa-kampa-tri-rekhāṅka-kaṇṭha sthita-graiva-dāmodaraṁ bhakti-baddham namami śvaram sachidananda-rūpam La Sakundalam Gokule Brajamana Iti Drika sva-līlābhir ānanda-kuṇḍe sva-ghoṣaṁ mṛjantaṁ ākhyāpāyantam tadīyeśita-jñeṣu bhaktarjita-tvam punah prematastam śratavrittivāni namami śvaram sachidananda-rūpam la satkundalam Gokule Brajamana Varam Deva Moksham Namokshavadim Anachanyam Vreneha Varesharapiha Idam Deva Purnata Gopala-palam Sada me manasya virastam kimana O namami Shvaram Sachidananda Rūpam La Satkundalam Gokule Brajamana Idam te mukham avyakta-nilar Vritam kuntalaishnigdharaktaischa gopya muhushum-vittam bimbarakta-tarami manasya virastam alam-nakshalam namami śvaram sachidananda-rūpam la sakundalam gokule brajamana namadeva Damodarāṣṭakam Vishnu Prasiddha Prabhu Dukha वृष्टिवृष्टि दीनां बतानो गृहाणि क्षमाभाग्यामे दक्षिणेश नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसकुन्तलं गोकुले व्रजमानं कुबेरात्मजो बद्धमूर्त्यद्वयाद्वत् त्वया मोचितो भक्तिभाजो कृतो च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकामे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मे स्थितामोदरे नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसकुन्तलं गोकुले व्रजमानं नमस्तेऽस्तु धाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयदारायथा विश्वासधाम्ने नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय देवाय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर दामोदर राधा दामोदर हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल Jai Kishore, what do you like to do, Jaidwani?
जय सप्रकार श्री श्री गुरु गौरंग गण हरिविगा गिरिध हरि राधा विनोद विहरे राधा नयनाथ राधा रमन विहरे राधा माधव श्री श्री सचिनानंद गौर हरे राधा दामोदर जीव की जय श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जीव की जय जय नित्य लील प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार परमहंस प्रियव्रतचार्य वर्यास्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्तिविज्ञान शिल भरति गोस्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय जय नित्य लील प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार परमहंस प्रियव्रतचार्य वर्यास्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत श्री श्रील नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज पतित पावन गुरुदेव की जय जय नित्य लील प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्ति बल तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नित्य लील प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नित्य लील प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत विक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय नित्य लील प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय नित्य लील प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रस्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत मार्ग गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की जय जय नित्यलील प्रविष्टौ विष्णुपारस्तोत्रस्तशिशिमान् भक्ति प्रज्ञान शिल केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव चार्य केशरी की जाय। जय नित्यलील प्रविष्टौ विष्णुपारस्तोत्रस्तशिशिमान् जगद्गुरु श्री वृषभानाविधेय दास शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जाय। सप्रकार शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर की जाय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टौ विष्णुपाद महापरम भगवत परवार परमहंस अष्टोत्तरस्त शिशिमार गौर किशोर दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टौ विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी अष्टोत्तरस्त शिशिमाद सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय। नित्यालील प्रविष्टौ विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वभौम अष्टोत्तरस्त शिशिमाद जगन्नाथ बाबूजी महाराज की जय। सूर्यकुंडवासी सिद्धहर्षल मरसूरदास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री उर्वदास उदरानदास की जय। गौरीविरान आचार्य श्री शिल बलदेव विभूषण प्रभु की जय। महामहोपाध्याय रसिक शिरोमणि शिल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पार की जय। श्री शिल रसिकानंद मुरारी देव गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री शिल रामचंद्र कविराज की जय। श्री श्री ललोचन दास ठाकुर की जय। शिल नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर महाशय श्रीनिवासाचार्य श्यामानंद पंडित प्रभुत्राय की जय। श्री शील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। वत्सवतार अर्काविशल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। श्री अष्टक विराज वसुर जानव नित्यानंद तुरस गोपाल चौषधि महंत अंत की जय। जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ सर्गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर रमनंद लोकनाथ पुगर्भ अली गौर परिषाद वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्री वसरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री शिल ईश्वरपुरी गोस्वामी पार की जय। श्री शिल माधवेंद्रपुरी गोस्वामी पार की जय। श्री अंतरद्वीप मायापुर सिमंदीप गौद्रमदीप मध्यद्वीप कोलीद्वीप ऋतुद्वीप जानुद्वीप मातृद्वीप रुद्रद्वीप मात्मका श्री नवद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय। श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय। श्री गौर चंद्र भगवान की जय। जय श्री श्री गौर गदाधर की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ गोपी गोपा गो गिरि गोवर्धन वर्षा श्री ब्रजमंडल धाम की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंगा सखी आमन सखी तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। जयेश्वरी ब्रजेश्वरी वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय। हमारे स्वामिनी श्रीमती राधिका की जय। जय श्री ललिता विशाखा चित्रा चंपकलत तुंग विद्या इंदुलेखा रंग देवी सुदेवी आदि सख्य वृंद की जय। श्री अनंग प्रेम मंजलाली श्री रूप लवंग राग विलस गुणरति कस्तूरी कमल नयमणि आदि मंजारी वृंद की जय। श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भगवती पूर्णमास युगमाय देवी की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर श्री शिव महादेव की जय। राधा पदन की तदाम श्री वृंदावन की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र नीलमार विजू की जय। श्री तत्व गोपीनाथ की जय। श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय। सर्वा विघ्ना विनाशन करे भक्त विघ्ना विनाश श्री इंद्र सिंह देव की जय। भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री प्रहलाद लक्ष्मी नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री हरिराम छरि संप्रदाय छरियाचार्य की जय। श्रीमद्वार मनोज विष्णु स्वामी नंबदित्याचार्य आचार्य की जय। शिल भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। शील प्रभुपाद की जय। आकर्मतरा श्री चैतन्य मात की जय। श्री गौरी मात वृंद की जय। ग्रंथरा श्रीमाद भगवताम भगवद्गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जैव धर्म आदि सर्वगौर्य वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन धर्म की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलयुग तरक ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mahamantra ki jai. Shri Anandakuri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Samargata Gaura Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kartik Vrat ki jai. Shri Damodar Vrat ki jai. Shri Kartik Maas ki jai. कार्तिका देवी दमोदरी उजेश्वरी ब्रजेश्वरी वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधिका महारानी की जय। बोलो श्री श्री राधा दामोदर जू की जय। श्री यशोद दामोदर जू की जय। श्री नंद बाबा की जय। श्री यशोद मैया की जय। श्री रोहिणी मैया की जय। श्री धव भैया की जय। श्री मधुकंठ की जय। श्री स्निग्ध कंठ की जय। श्री फ्रूट सेलर की जय। श्रीनिताय घोर परमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Dandavat pranams, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol, everybody. So Dandavat pranams, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji. Dandavat pranams to you both, and Kishore Prabhu. Then Satya Mataji and Krishna Mai Didi. I had to go early. Let's see. Who else is there? On YouTube and Facebook, Vidyalala Didi, Pradyumna Prabhu, Mantaramurti Mataji, Raj Bhuvan Yadav ji, Dr. Vandana Bhanot, Hare Krishna, and Sudevi Didi, and I see there are a few others. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow we will continue on we'll finish this, and then we'll read about, we'll end, and we'll begin at chapter 4. Param Deva Moksham Nala Moksham. Before we end the live stream, Kishore or Nuri Hari Prabhu, do you have anything that you wanted to, any thoughts or anything before I end? Okay, then we will end for now, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Oh yes.
Just one thing, just
Yes,
heart melting, especially when Nanda Baba is asking, and that scene is just like really heart-rending. And then when Krishna finally, runs to her lap, it's yeah. What else can we, like Satyavrata Muni is like, what else would I want but just to see that in my heart always?
Yes. Yeah, and all the residents, everybody was crying.
Yeah.
I love Gurudev's commentary, how he goes so deep into all these pastimes in his commentary.
Me too. Yes. And how he extracts, that what is the only way to control Krishna is, through that pure love.
I have a question for both of you. How was Kartik with Gurudev?
How was Kartik with Gurudev?
That's a very big question, Kishore. That's like, he could go on and on and on. That's like a, yeah. I mean, Kartik was such a prominent thing for Gurudev, wasn't it? That was, I mean, I don't know about other acharyas, but like Kartik that was Gurudev's time when he would like just shine like no other time. Like it was the Harikatha, the parikramas, the kirtans with Gurudev, every I don't know, Nuri Hari Prabhu, what do you have to say?
Oh my God, there's so much. It's just one little thing, like it's all thanks to Gurudev. He impacted our hearts, he put those places in our hearts. I mean, or at least, I'm so forever thankful there's so much more to say. Of course, his presence, doing some service to so many different things that occurred. I could go on for some time, but now my japa since many years ago. By the way, this year is my 50th anniversary when I first joined the movement, and Prabhupada accepted my sister and I in October. I got the letter, but and in chanting all these years, but with Gurudev, he brought us during Kartik to most important, because it's all about Braja, isn't it? I mean, that's our home. That's where we have to go. And so now we can chant. And now when I read little things, how to chant and what to do. And yesterday or the day before, I think Vedavyāsa published something. Gurudev said how to chant japa and just do parikram mentally. And then if your mind goes somewhere, Gurudev said, go to Govardhan and run and loudly chant the name. So yes, I should say that now when I chant, thanks to Gurudev, all these places that we went with him come to mind. And of course, little things that, the kirtans say like that. And we used to have a double whammy with him, because we come here to parikrama, and he would always, it was so funny, he will say, and next year you come, each one of you bring at least five people with you, 5 devotees with you. And now go back to your palaces in the West, he would say. But then we'll have him, he will come to Hawaii and spend a month all through December, and he gave us opportunity to again serve him. We leave everything in Big Island and we go to Oahu, where he would stay at Vrindavan's place, and assist in whichever way, and had so many amazing times with him. How he deepened our bhakti. And so then he will stay till January, and then we'll celebrate his appearance, and then he will bring us back again to Navadvip.
But just that point you were making is really beautiful, that it was Kartik time, that was, we have all these ideas of all these designations that we have. I'm this, I'm that, I'm from America, I'm from this country or that country. And Kartik time was a time when Gurudev really tried to ingrain in us, indent in all the devotees, that no, this is not you, this is your real home. And he'd bring us to all these places and all these pastimes. And it was when you're at the actual place and you're hearing about the pastimes from somebody who's actually seen the pastimes, who's been in the pastimes, it has such a powerful effect. I mean, this Damodarāṣṭakam book, this is what Gurudev's Harikatha that he would speak every day during Kartik time. All these same points, all these same. So you see how beautiful this book is. This is what his Harikatha was every day, and every year he would pick a different topic. Every year he'd pick a different topic. Sometimes it'd be 1 year's Madhurya Kadambini, 1 year's Ras Panchadhyaya. Every year he'd have a different topic. First he would speak about Damodarāṣṭakam, and then when he would get to the end of Damodarāṣṭakam, then he would speak on whatever topic it was. And there'd be 2 classes, on days where we weren't going on parikrama very early in the morning. Every day there'd be 2 classes, except for on bus days. And then in the evening time, when everybody would return, then there'd be more Harikatha speaking about all the places that we had just gone to. So it was just full-on immersion in really powerful Harikatha and being in the places. And so, like Nirihari Prabhu was saying, is it started to it gave you something that you could something that you could keep with you, so that when you're chanting your rounds, when you're doing, you can go back to these places. It made really heavy duty samskars that wasn't possible any other time. It was Kartik time when there was the most strong heavy duty samskars, and it was just full on the whole month, like no break, no stop. It was just full on, like pounding it all. This conception that, you know, I'm meant to be here. This is my home. These are my people. I want to be a Brajvasi, like trying to get kindle this greed within us. The Kartik time was like the ultimate time for that with Gurudev. And Gurudev has been doing this Brajmandal Parikrama how many times for like throughout his whole life. He's been doing this 60, I don't know how many Brajmandal Parikramas, 50, 60 Brajmandal, like it was just so many, like probably like 50 Brajmandal Parikramas, something like that, right? So this is like, this is Gurudev's thing. Yeah.
And he insisted, he said by foot. He said that they would put all this stuff they needed for, like, you know, spend the time and whatever, you know, utensil and stuff like that, and then in a truck or something, vehicle like that, and then they would all walk. And at times I had to admit, you know, I feel like real wimps, you know, like. But yeah, this Kartik, you know, in 1989, I brought my mother's ashes with my father and sister, Bhaktadasi, and my father took initiation from at that time. But we brought, and so we came, and I was at Krishna Balaram Mandir, and I met some of my god-brothers in the Pushpadanta, but they were very little concealed because I didn't know all the undercurrents, whatever. But I entered the temple one day, and there was a table, and Guru Kripa, he said, "Hey, you gotta come here. You must get this book." And so it was Gurudev's first English book on parikrama with a pink cover. And Gurudev, I was reading the Gurudev was saying, you know, this, and well, we're reading now the edition that happened maybe in 2000 something. The green one, I don't know if you remember, but anyhow, he said under insisting so much, you know, the books sold when. But I remember that day I just got the book, and I just could not. I read it all in one go, and never. And like you said, Gurudev brought us to those pastimes. He was witnessing them, and I just don't know. I mean, whatever it was, my lack of Sukriti and like that I didn't think, well, where can I meet him and where should I go? I mean, the book said Mathura like that, but I didn't think that you can. I don't know what happened, but anyhow, and then it was such a, you know, distraction. You know, there was all other devotees and like that, and I was a little bit on suspicion of my god-brothers because all the thing that happens with you know, these gurus that are taking over, and when the news came to LA, you know, then the name Nārāyaṇa Mahārāja was there, so I was a little afraid of, you know, is he with this group, this people, is he supporting them or not? And everybody was a little very kept to themselves about it. So Pushpadanta said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" "Oh yeah, where are you staying?" "Oh, I'm Rup Sanātana." But he never said, "You must come, you gotta." I guess our relationship wasn't that intimate. But anyhow, it just, being with Gurudev, and now, like you said, remember, he would bring us to this. He's something that he was witnessing. And he was so funny, Gurudev, too. He said, well, if you know, if they ask, you know, what's the best food, we have like 5 courses, and like, you know, so get him anyhow, get him to come to, you know, because once you brought him here, it was like, and the opportunity to bring different devotees here to this parikrama and look at their faces when they heard from Gurudev. And the lectures, like you were saying, you know, sometimes at the end, you know, if we were traveling in the evening, he would speak. And just bringing them, and then just after the lecture, look at their faces or talk to them. They were in total bliss. It was like, Total. So anyhow, sorry, Kishore, I don't like them too long, and it's hard to put everything in just few words. But yes, forever thankful to Gurudev.
Dhanyavad. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing all that. Okay, I have to get ready for my next meeting now, but that was very beautiful. Thank you for sharing all those remembrances. Hari Hari Bol. Right, and Dandavat pranams everybody. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams everybody. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna.